Thank you very much for attending. So I'm going to just quickly introduce your session and then give you the floor. So Liesbeth, you are the Secretary General of the Association of Issuing Bodies, the AIB. The AIB has been created, I don't know the exact date, but many years ago to accommodate for the development. 20 years ago to facilitate the development of the electricity geosystem in Europe. It has evolved ever since, providing infrastructure, but you will talk about that later. The AIB is a member of the CertifHy 3 consortium, and CertifHy and the AIB have been working together closely to further accelerate the development of an harmonized hydrogen geo market. And today, Liesbeth, I would like to give you the floor to present how the AIB sees the development of hydrogen geos in Europe, what we've been doing, and what does it mean for the AIB and for CertifHy. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, Mathieu, for this nice introduction. And hi all, I will share my screen now with my presentation. And there it is. So indeed, I am Liesbeth Switten, have been following up Phil Moody, our predecessor 2 years ago. And together with Katrien Verwimp, who most of you will know, I'm heading the AIB, and we are working on energy certification and also on certification of hydrogen. AIB is all about guaranteeing the origin of the energy that is consumed. And that's what AIB was founded for 20 years ago. And it is our mission still today. And how to guarantee this? It's by reliable energy certification. We've set up a whole system. So basically, I'm going to run quickly. I'm going to present the AIB and its work quickly, then go into the details how we have incorporated gases and mainly hydrogen into our activities, and how we are participating to CertifHy, and vice versa, how CertifHy is in a great way participating within AIB. So AIB is not a European agency or anything. We are a non-profit association. We are founded in 2002, and currently we have 32 members who are all issuing bodies that have been appointed by law under the RED II by their government. So they are all issuing bodies of electricity geos, of which currently more than 8 have been already appointed for gas geos, including hydrogen. The geographic scope of AIB is not worldwide. We are only, we have really set the limits to Europe. Europe being EU, EEA, and the energy community. Why did we do that? We really want to guarantee the reliability. And if we go outside that scope, outside that legal framework that exists until today, then it will be hard to make that happen. Our members are very diverse. They have been appointed by their governments, and it may be that they are TSOs, that they are regulators, that they are market operators, etc., making it very diverse, but also very interesting, but also obviously quite difficult at times to come to harmonization, because that's what we're about, harmonization, bottom-up harmonization of the energy certification system in Europe. Jointly with our members, we have developed a standard, the EEC standard for geos, which is basically also the basis for the current CEN standard, the EN 16325, that is being revised. In 2013, AIB cooperated with CEN to draft the EN 16325 standard, to have like a basic standard within CEN for geos. It's only been updated in 2017, and now again, as you all are aware, and today as the plenary meeting is ongoing again, the CEN standards updates are making a very lively debate, and showing again how difficult it is to harmonize such things. The pillars of the energy certificates system of EECs are threefold. Basically, we have the EECs rules, which is the booklet, the standard where everything is explained. We operate a hub, which I will explain later, and we have a system of quality assurance, and that's really important. Wouter was saying it, we need a bulletproof system for energy certification, and that's what is important. We have a system of audits and reviews whereby we go to each member, to their offices, and we check that the whole GO system that they have set up is reliable and is in compliance with the EEC standard. And it's a real wide audit. We audit the IT systems, we audit the procedures, we audit their whether they have contacts with their VAT authorities, for instance. We audit how production devices are registered, etc. Yeah, you all know the system of certification, so I briefly go through that. Physical supply is clear. It's gotten more complicated, obviously, for gases. A unit of energy going towards a consumer may have undergone a long process. It may stem from electricity. It has been going through an electrolyzer before it was fed into the gas grid, for instance. Gases may be blended before getting into the grid, and therefore it's hard to determine what exactly is the energy source for that unit of gas that is consumed. And that's where the system of guarantees of origin, the GOs, come in. So for each unit of energy that is produced from renewable sources, a GO is issued to the producer, being a digital certificate that is issued in a digital registry, and that is tradable. And to prove the source of gas consumption, a guarantee of origin corresponding to the same amount of energy is cancelled in that database, that local national database. You probably all know this. But so basically, each registry which is operated by an issuing body includes producer accounts, trader accounts, and supplier or consumer accounts. So GOs enable consumer choice because they can choose energy products from certain sources. A book and claim system promotes market efficiency and simplicity, and on top of that, it allows for liquidity of the market, and it also supports the internal market. As I said, AIB has set up a trading hub because trading on a national level is easy. GOs are traded between the accounts in the same GO registry. But it becomes more complicated when there's international trade between national registries. Fine if there's only 2 countries with such a system, but in the case of Europe, you know, the GO system is laid down in the Renewables Directive, and therefore all European states are setting up national registries, and these GOs are tradable between those registries. And that's why we built an IT platform, a hub, to make sure that our members, the issuing bodies, do not have to set up bilateral connections. We can make sure that there is trade between registries through that platform, and it works. The system has been active for 20 years now. The hub is not that old, but last year, at least 700 terawatt hours of GOs were transferred between these 32 domains, and that's a huge amount. So we have now a harmonized and standardized IT system that's automated, jointly operated by AIB's members, currently issuing bodies of electricity, but that is also to be opened for gases, including hydrogen. And the benefits obviously are enormous in terms of efficiency, cost efficiency, reliability. We also have fraud prevention checks in place. We monitor the trade, and there are checks to detect VAT fraud carousels, for instance. So this is really also one of the services and one of the harmonization measures that we have made possible together with our members bottom up. Quick look at the market of electricity GOs. Last year, 835 terawatt hour was issued, which is nearly the double from 2016. Trades as well, national trades up to 1,000 terawatt hours, 700 terawatt hours of GOs internationally traded. So you can see it's really a huge value, a market with a huge value, because at present, an electricity GO pricing is €1, €2. So just do the math. This is the potential that's also there for hydrogen and hydrogen GOs and GOs from other energy carriers. However, AIB needed obviously to organize to facilitate multiple energy carriers. This is a process that we've started already years ago. You must know that in the very beginning, the whole AIB and the X rules have been set up to accommodate gases. There had already been a draft gas chapter from 2013. So this was just a process that has been ongoing for years. And there are several steps we took. First of all, content-wise, we have introduced energy carrier conversion rules in the EEC standard. That is a step we took already in 2019 and has been updated. Also, organization-wide, it was important that we would facilitate members to take decisions on aspects they have a competence for. Not all of our members are competent for gases, and vice versa. In the future, not all gas members, the issuing bodies for gases or for hydrogen, will not all be competent on electricity, and therefore they will not feel comfortable to make a decision on a detail of electricity GOs. And that's why we reorganized and we set up a horizontal structure with units who discuss the aspects that are of common importance, such as the generic energy certification system, such as communications, such as operation of the hub, the data format of GOs, of EEC certificates. These things are discussed in the units. However, when it comes to the energy carrier specific issues, we discuss it in the scheme groups, which have a budget that is making sure that there is no cross-financing between those two groups of members. And then also IT-wise, AIB is preparing for allowing gas certificates going through our hub. We are preparing this and it will enter into effect in the second half of this year. Let me tell you something about the guarantee of origin as an EEC project. So what does such a certificate, an EEC certificate, looks like under EEC? It's a generic certificate with a number of data fields, as you can see. Data fields that derived from the Renewables Directive and added and fine-tuned by joint and unanimous decision of our members. There are a number of optional fields that are already there: labels, carbon footprint, timestamping, etc., radioactive waste. There are a number of additional fields for gas certificates: type of gas, whether high or lower calorific value, and then a number of other data fields that are optional. We are awaiting EN 16325. However, we want to move forward. Our members need to implement this. They need to implement the format of the digital format of the GO, and such things take time, and therefore we are moving forward despite the SEN standard not having been concluded, and we are adding optional data fields whereby the content is not yet sure, but which will allow our members to move fast once the SEN standard has been completed. I will tell more about the SEN standard later on. There are also a number of additional fields on electricity certificates. This is not really important for this presentation. So for renewable gases, the GO system that was introduced already in 2001 has been expanded. So the RED 2 has now also included a book and claim system for renewable gases. It's not yet mandatory, whereas for renewable electricity, it's mandatory to issue GOs to renewable electricity. The basis of the GOs for gas are in Article 19 of the RED 2. And the flip side of the coin is a disclosure system that is existing for electricity in the Internal Electricity Market Directive, and that is also in the works in the gas directive. The Internal Gas Market Directive is undergoing some changes whereby the basis is being laid out for disclosure of the share of low carbon gases by suppliers. What is the framework at present for cross-border harmonization of GOs? Well, the basics are in the Renewables Directive. A directive is a European legislative text containing just principles, and that text needs to be implemented in each member state Obviously, this leads to a multitude of interpretations always. And that's where the EEC standard has, the SEN standard comes in, which is also laid down as a basis, as obligation, sorry, in the RED II. Member states needs to comply with the SEN standard. That will also, when it's finished, give a lot of indications to what a GO system should look like, what should be on a GO, etc., etc. EECs will still be there. Obviously, the EECs rules will be fully aligned with the SEN standard. There will be no contradictions. However, we will remain to add value by guaranteeing efficiency, guaranteeing reliability, fraud resistance. This is our core. This is our strength. The good thing about EECs is also it's agile. You know from the SEN discussions that it takes forever to change a small detail. And as we've seen with electricity, the market evolves constantly and you need a level of agility to adapt your standard to that so that you can move forward with your energy certification system. So the basis of the AIB, the EEC system, the document structure, so to say, is that the EECs rules are the actual standard. Detail is governed in subsidiary documents, like how to assign codes to registries, etc. And then there are fact sheets that address things like membership addresses, codes, guidelines, etc. These are all public. You can go to our website, aibnet.org, and you can find all the relevant standards and details there. What is particular for our system is that we have a system of domain protocols, and a domain protocol is a text, a standardized text that is written by each member, whereby they describe how they have implemented the EECs rules, the GO system, in their own country. So for each country in Europe that is a member of AIB, there is a domain protocol for download from our website, where you can read how that country has implemented the EECs rules, the EECs standards, what are the specificities of that country. Maybe there are some small deviations from the EECs rules, maybe we don't allow for large deviations, by the way. So, but that is maybe a very useful informational document should you look for information about a certain country. Let me tell you about the challenges we observe that European member states have been going through when implementing a GO system for gas and hydrogen, obviously. The state of play is a bit diverse. What we observe is that quite some countries are in the way of changing the law. Mainly this is the energy law. Every country has their own energy law, and that is just the basis, the start. I mean, that's the implementation of the RED II into legislation and appointment of an issuing body, or not even that. Currently, for instance, Latvia, Slovakia, Sweden are in that position. Main challenges that member states have in this respect is that the law is so slow. The process of changing the law is going extremely slow. Another thing that is really a problem is that the SEN standard revision is so slow. The RED II had to be implemented last year, as you all know, and no one has been able to do it exactly because of the SEN standard not being ready. What we also see is that member states really struggle with the interdependent legislation that is in constant evolution. You all know it as being experts, being present to this meeting. It is a problem that there is a delegated act on RFMBOs, that the RED III is under development, that there is the EU ETS system, a union database is being set up. What is the link with GOs? So it's very, very complicated, technical, and there is a lack of harmonization between these pieces of legislation. So there's a lot of work to do there before you can really think about setting up a very reliable and harmonized European GO system for gases, for hydrogen. There's also interrelation between certification schemes for multiple as you know, there are disclosure certificates, target accounting certificates, support certificates. Sometimes national responsibilities are spread over various entities. It's not easy. There are also countries where the competence for hydrogen is not yet determined, like in Belgium with the federal state structure. It's also challenges that Belgium is fighting as we speak. The state of play, as I mentioned, there are countries where the laws are being amended. I have more information on most of the countries. Should you have questions on that, I'm after my presentation, I'm happy to answer that. In some countries, the issuing body has already been appointed. Just naming a few: Letland, Italy, Lithuania, Brussels, etc. Some are already further. They are tendering or developing their registry, Switzerland, for instance, and Portugal. And then there are those countries who are really there already, such as Finland and Austria, Flanders, Estonia, and the Netherlands, who, by the way, will be using the CertifHy scheme for the hydrogen certification. What about AIB's contribution in CertifHy? So, first of all, why would we need a generic GO system for all energy carriers? It's all about reliability. Gas is feeding into the grids, renewable gas and fossil gas. It's going to an end consumer. Okay, we get that. And there's a GO system for that type of gas. However, we are now in a situation where gas can also be fed into an electrolyzer, and that electrolyzer can feed the hydrogen into a truck, then that goes to an end consumer for transport. So we also need a GO system for hydrogen. And there is GO conversion issuance, because the end consumer here would like to know that part of his gas can be coming from renewable sources. So therefore, also for electricity, there is the possibility that electricity is produced and going through an electrolyzer, for instance, or for storage. So basically, the AIB is really convinced that a harmonized and generic GO system for all energy carriers is the way forward. Therefore, there is a system, the EEC system, whereby this is structured as a generic certificate system, an umbrella certificates called EEC certificates, with several types of certificates, product types, as we call them. The concept of product types has been existing since years already. There are GOs, there are support certificates, target certificates, and there is something called ICS certificates. ICS certificates are certificates independent criteria schemes. These are certificates that are not necessarily issued under a legal framework. And that's why the CertifHy comes in. CertifHy, it will be developing the NGC CertifHy that will offer a solution to those countries who do not have yet have a GO system for hydrogen in place. And we've seen a similar development back in the days for electricity. There was also an NGC REX that was operating for those countries that had not yet a GO system in place. I will speed up because I see the time is ticking. There is also the possibility to add labels on GOs, labels being basically a data field, but with underlying information about the additionality. Maybe the energy is produced from really new production facilities, from production facilities that have a low carbon footprint, etc. So we have been closely working with CertifHy. We are happy, and CertifHy has been closely cooperating with AIB. We're really happy to have Hinicio as a very active observer, as chair of our gas scheme group, and participating in our board. Also, we have, together with Hinicio and CertifHy, developed our gas scheme to facilitate hydrogen. And as I said, adding optional data fields on the GOs pending the revision of the SEN standards. And obviously, Hinicio and CertifHy are great partners in the ongoing revisions of the SEN standards. On the other side, AIB has also been contributing to CertifHy in the work of aligning the CertifHy scheme with the X rules. For now, we have added an optional purity fields on the GO, pending the discussions on the content of that field. We just added the option and also had a good discussion about labels. We are paving the way to add CertifHy as an independent criteria scheme in X. This is targeted in 2022 when the legal side of that is being clear. And we're also constructing a domain protocol of an issuing body under CertifHy Scheme and X. This is under creation. So as I said, CertifHy will be a perfect solution for those member states where the issuing body for hydrogen has not yet been appointed by the government, in analogy to what happened during the set of the electricity GO scheme. So concluding, for over 20 years, there has been a standard for GOs that was created bottom-up, harmonized on the initiative of the European member states together within the framework of AIB. With our association, we continue to develop this reliable energy certification system. We continuously expand to other countries in Europe, to other energy carriers with the assistance of projects like CertifHy and Regatrace. And we guard the reliability through audits, reviews, through fraud checks, because reliability is key. The evolution is slow, but by cooperating, we really work towards the energy transition, and it's really good to see the attention rising for our work, for the work of CertifHy. And I'm sure that although the matter is very complex and the evolution is slow, we'll get there in the end, as long as we can align and harmonize to the maximum extent. That was it. Thank you for your attention. I will gladly take any questions now.
Thank you very much, Liesbeth, for this presentation. So we have some questions related to hydrogen GOs in the chat box. One from Daniel Kalfas. Liesbeth, what would you know about the current status for hydrogen GO registry in Germany?
It's complicated. Indeed, as far as I know, there has not been so last year the new government entered into seat in Germany, and as far as I know, there has not been appointed a issuing body for gas yet for hydrogen. There is one for gas. Yeah.
And while there, I did in the chat box that the ministry did not appoint a competent authority. So basically, no organization or government body has been appointed to work on hydrogen GOs yet. So this is very, very, very early level of discussion in Germany.
Yeah, the GO legislation is under discussion, and the aim is that it's voted this summer. So let's see what we go there, because also the competences in Germany have changed. So it used to be an environmental ministry and economy, the Ministry of Economics. So it's under development.
Yeah. One more question before we go for the lunch breaks, and this is noon. Thank you for the swift timing. What is the lifetime of hydrogen GOs? What is the lifetime of hydrogen GO? So
that's the lifetime as it is laid down in the red too. So it's 12 months. So that's clear.
And regarding the other question from Niels, is ammonia treated as a gas and can receive GOs, and if yes, under which criteria for hydrogen used? So I think that here we are entering the world of GOs and RFNBOs and categorization of gas. So I think that this is very unclear in the legislation for specifically GOs, and the lifetime of RFNBO hydrogen. I think the answer is it's a little bit different, because talking about the lifetime for a certificate in a mass balance system, where the physical product and its certificates are traded together, makes it a little bit more difficult to talk about a lifetime. We do know that there will be this question will be addressed notably in the design of the union database, but we are lacking clarity at the time.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's I can confirm.
Thank you very much, Liesbeth. Thank you very much for attending, and also I think that you've introduced also the future evolution for CertifHy, which is seeking recognition as an IAB non-convertible certificate. This is something that we'll touch upon this afternoon, but it was a very nice introduction to this very good evolution in the collaboration between CertifHy and the IAB. Your presentation actually closes the morning sessions. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for all the presenters and attendees for this morning.